Hello, everybody out there in Facebook world, TikTok land, YouTube, everywhere. There's going to be a clip of this going live or just a clip thereof. That way, it represents where we are. My YouTube channel and my Facebook page, as well as my Facebook itself, all get a copy of this somehow, some way, somewhere. Push this over just a hair. Get it out of my face just a little bit. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. And today we're talking about trust the process. Trust the process. What does that mean? What does that mean, trust the process? Well, there's a process to everything. There's a process to the way you do artwork sometimes. You just got to trust it. Just like I've been listening to a bunch of old recordings that we did on some EVP ghost hunts and things like that. And since it is that time of season, and it you start hearing things in the background that you didn't hear before, especially whenever you pull up, put it on a sound mixing board, basically, and from there, you just listen to it. You listen to the questions asked, and then you listen in between where the responses should be. And sometimes you don't get a response right then and there. You get a response a little bit farther down the way, but that's how it goes sometimes. So you just listen. I've got two different ones pulled up on the computer right now that I was listening to yesterday. Because I am going to get more and more involved in all of this ghost hunting since I do live in a haunted house. So welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. So lots of stuff's happening around here, and I'm down for it because it's time for some new things. Like I've talked about, decluttering out a bunch of crap that is just sitting around collecting dust for the most part. And then a whole bunch of new artwork is getting ready to hit the scene. I've already got two penciled in for the Prince of Darkness, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, which, if you've seen my page, you've seen those. And then I've also got another one, a magic from Marvel Universe, Peter Rasputin's sister, Ilyana Rasputin. She is magic in the Marvel Universe. And I've got that one in the works in a different style. And that's the style I'm going to be working with on a few paintings because I've always loved the style. And so I am working in that style instead of my typical style when it comes to these new paintings, a couple of the new paintings. Now, the Ozzy Osbourne piece is going to look a lot like the Chester Bennington piece, which is like this one right here. So the Ozzy Osbourne is going to be in the same vein as the Chester Bennington piece. And yes, this shirt is available if you're interested. We have lots of shirts available if you're interested. We just added a bunch more stuff to the mix. So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, trusting the process when it comes to the artwork or even decluttering. Trust the process. Because some people will declutter just to reclutter, you know? And so I'm hoping to avoid that pitfall. But I am going to be getting rid of a bunch of comic books that I do have that, don't serve a purpose to me. A bunch of action figures and things of that nature that are just basically sitting around collecting dust and have no use for me at all. This tiny tarot deck's been around for a while. It was copyrighted in 1998 by U.S. Game Systems Incorporated. But yes, tiny tarot deck that you can keep on your keychain, and that way you can do readings at any point in time. There you go. All right, so we have shown a bunch of artwork here today, and we've got a ton more to show. I pulled out some old pieces that I'm looking at, liquidating out. I'm going to do some rework on some of this, but this is a simple Elvira that I did a long time ago. In fact, in 2019, so boom, right there, some Elvira for you. And then this was cool. A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. But he glows in the dark, so that one's cool. And then I got one more sitting back here if I can reach it. Mr. Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Right there. He glows in the dark as well. I made a critical error on some of these back in the day. And you can see a little bit of a spot right here where the card used to be on the back. But he glows in the dark as well. Again, 2019 is when all these became readily available in the world, and I'm going to fix these up and get rid of them, for today's time. But welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. We are talking about all kinds of different things. We talk about horror movies here. We talk about sci-fi movies. We talk about comic books. We talk about comic book artwork. We talk about, let's see here, paranormal stuff, because I live in a haunted house 100%. And am into the spooky, creepy, the creepier the better. And if you know of a good horror movie that will scare you or keep you up at night, put it in the comments, because I have yet to find one that will do that. I watch horror movies, and I can sleep like a baby after. So even, documentaries and things of that nature, I can, when it has to deal with, true crime and all that stuff, I can sleep like a baby thereafter. And so if you know of something that is out there that is so terrifying that when you saw it, you couldn't sleep for days, let me know. We're looking for that type of entertainment, if you will. But yes, it all has to do with the scare factor. The freakier, the better. The scarier, the better. The bloodier, the better. All that goody good stuff. And we look forward to it. Because, if you don't tell us about it, we don't know about it. And I see a lot of people's horror pages, and they talk about the new horror movies that just came out and things like that. And I go and watch some of them, and it's just like, you considered that horror? But, it's to each their own. Everybody has their own take on what they feel like horror should be. And, that's why I've been revisiting a lot of the old horror movies recently. Especially since they pushed a ton of them, on like Amazon Prime and Hulu and Netflix and all that stuff. But it's just like, I'm not finding, horror to be the way it used to be. The stuff that they try now, they try too hard, and it's just like, well, that's not scary at all. It's just like some of the haunted houses that I've been to here recently. It's just like, okay, where's your freak factor? Where's your horror factor in this that is going to set you apart from everybody else? Because right now, you are just a typical haunted house, just rushing people through, and basically not putting a scare in anybody. You know, and it's just like, well, all right, you do you, boo, and I know you're making the money, and you're paying your actors and stuff like that are in your haunted attraction, but there's no fear, there's no real sense of dread, if you will, when it comes to most haunted houses anymore. Um, Even haunted attractions. I mean, yeah, they've got some cool costumes and cool effects and things like that, but for the most part, it's just okay, cool. I'll walk through your exhibit while your clowns and spooky people are chasing me out of the room, supposedly. But yeah, the last one, which was what 2 years ago that we went to, it was just so rushed. It was like, come on, we're going here. You're here. Okay, okay. This is gonna happen. Okay, move on to the next spot. Okay, this is gonna happen. Okay, you're walking around the corner. Boom, there's a scare. Not really, but it's supposed to be, you know. And again, I was laughing through the haunted house, and then at the very end, the typical that you see in all the videos where the chainsaw wielding maniac clown comes at you with the chainsaw, and I just look at him. I'm not running, dude. I mean, you can do what you want, but this is about the fastest speed you're going to get out of me as we're walking out the back door. After spending our $40 or whatever it was to go through a 10-minute, you know, walkthrough, if you will, um, of a haunted house, of a haunted warehouse, and it's just like, that's just way too much money. Now, if it was not, if you were in a maze for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes or something like that to spend that type of money, that would probably be a different story, you know, and have a little bit more of the jump scares and the different scares that they used to put into you back in the day. Today's haunted attractions are just like, okay. I've seen people doing the walkthroughs and it's just like, that's all you guys got now, and it's just like, okay, well, maybe I'm just too much old school, you know, because back in the day they used to have some good fear factors, in my opinion, as opposed to what I've seen today, and it's just like, all right, well, maybe I'll find one that will put me back in the hospital for heart palpitations or something one of these days. But as of right now, haven't found one of those. It's just like the horror movies. I haven't found a horror movie that good yet. When it comes down to it, and that keeps me up or it makes me think even harder. There's like take Weapons for example. We want to know more about Gladys. Well, congratulations, we're getting Gladys, prequel movie to Weapons. If you've seen Bring Her Back, uh, I was more intrigued with the lost film footage that she was getting all of her information from than I was the actual movie, because the actual movie was just like, okay, so you've got your possessed child, you know, uh, that's technically not even your child that you're trying to bring back, blah blah blah. But all the footage on that VHS tape is where the true action is, and it's just like, bring that to life. I want to see that video, or I want to see that movie over Bring Her Back. Give me that lost film footage from Bring Her Back, and we'll go from there, because that had a lot of cool stuff in it. Whereas opposed to just the movie itself was just like, I mean, it's a good movie. It was more original than some of the movies that have come out, and it's just like people are talking about Match, basically the matchmaking, side of things, and it was an okay movie. It was semi-original, but all in all, it could have been so much better. And again, it's just had none of that. This series microphone, no, it's a live sound card microphone. I think it all hooks together with my sound card. So, welcome, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. You finally came to the right side of the world. Congratulations. About time you showed up to the right side of the world. But no, this is just a typical standard live sound card microphone. It comes with this little board right here that flashes, gives you different sound tones. Even though you guys can't hear it, everybody else on the other side of the world can that's listening in on. No, it's just a 110 plug in, and technically it's just plugged into my computer. Um, bum, bum, bum. Yeah, no 48 volts. And so you got your coffee. That's good. So, but yeah, horror movies today just aren't what they used to be. You know, there's some good ones out there, but there's none that have just been so creepified that that it's going to keep me up at night or anything like that. And like I said, good morning, Mister Roy Joe Bradley Jr. Welcome to the broadcast booth on this side of the world, where you should have been in the first place, instead of over at the other side of the world. We're talking about horror movies. We're talking about trusting the process and the artwork and decluttering process and things of that nature. And then, we've got one asking about the microphone, that's here. I think I bought it off the TikTok shop too, to be honest, if you're still here, which I don't know if you are or not. But let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. Thanks for the heart. The heart me. Thanks for that. Let's see here. So, spooky season is tomorrow. Spooky season is upon us tomorrow. Actually, this whole month. A lot of people celebrate spooky season all year round, just like some people celebrate Christmas all year round. And I would rather celebrate the spooky season than Christmas season all year round. That's just me, though. Because I've got stuff like this that I'm working on sitting on my desk. That I'm painting up right now. The haunted attraction dolls, those type things. That's just one of the things that I've got here. I've got another one that I'm going to be working on as well. Um, but we specialize in the horror artwork as well as other comic book style artwork in of itself. Um, if you haven't taken a walk down memory lane with us, you can. You can go down there and check out all the T-shirts that we've got for sales. We have tons of shirts for sales, all kinds of different ones, all kinds of different peoples. As you move through it, you've got all kinds. Excuse me, right there. And that's what we do here. We sell artwork. We make artwork. And if you like, whatever you like and you want to commission, hit me up. We do commissions on a regular basis. Um, Ozzy is sitting back here with the other Ozzy and another piece that I've already got. It's not even started painting yet. I've just got the pencils up on it. So whenever you start making some artwork and you get it out there, then you'll see how long of a process it takes sometimes. It's not an overnight thing where it just gets done just like that. Unless you're an AI artist and then you can just type it in and boom, you're done in 5 minutes. Not how I work. Sorry. Don't do the AI shit. Never will. You know, I don't even have it on my phone. It is turned off. Yes, you are an OU Sooner fan. We get it, Roy. It's all good. And, once the Aussie shirts are made up, they'll be made up. But I got to get the painting done first for you Thunder fan out there and you OU Sooner fan, you know. And we've got the proof that you're an OU fan. And I can put it as my green screen back here if you'd like, with your OU face paint on, all that good stuff. And then your OU on the outside of your apartment complex. Everybody knows you're a Sooner Gooner. So it's all good, buddy. It's all good. You do have some taste, so it's all good. So hopefully you all are doing great out there. Um, Lots of stuff is happening around here, and we're gonna do some carving today on some pumpkins so that they're ready. Um, your team didn't even play yesterday. Your team lost the night before in a big way. Your lackers. I'm surprised they even have one win on the season, to be honest, so far. But or at least I don't think they played yesterday because I don't keep up with them like you keep up with all my teams. It's quite funny that you let me know sometimes more about my team's information than I get to know right off the bat or that I saw, you know. So I know who you truly follow in the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Rangers and things like that. I get it. I know who you truly follow. So there you go, Mr. Roy. So, is there a horror movie that has kept you up at night that you don't ever want to see again? You know, that's what I want to know right now. Because, like we've talked about previous and all this stuff, is that I haven't found one yet that is going to keep me up at night or make me, when I step outside, start looking around corners and things like that. It's just like, what horror movie scared you so much that you never want to see it again? That's where we are right now. So let us know. Let us know what movie messed you up so much that you never want to see it again when it comes to a horror film. Because, it all comes down to it. It's like where's the good stuff? Where's the good horror movies that'll mess you up and keep you up at night? Because I haven't found it yet. And I'm waiting to see one like that. Because, you always want that disturbing movie that you never want to watch again. And oh, they actually played last night besides with each other. Oh, well, good for you. I'm glad that they put win number 2 on the season for a change, you know, and good for them. Yes, your Oklahoma City Thunder won. Yes, I know. I know they did. I got that. I got that memo. So, oh, they finally broke number 3. Wow, amazing. Well, that's it for the season. That's their last win of the season. So, congratulations on that number 3 win. It's all good, Roy. It's all good. We know who your true teams are because you tell me about them all the time. With when you're informing me of scores out there of the Oklahoma Sooners and the Oklahoma City Thunder, Texas Rangers, and the Dallas Cowboys. So we know who your true teams are. We know who you follow. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, is there a horror movie that you have watched that screwed you up? I'm looking forward to the new 13 Ghosts series that's getting ready to hit. Just because it's going to put into perspective each of the 13 ghosts that were captured, in the movie. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be pretty cool. What movie are you looking forward to coming out? Anything that you've seen recently that you're looking forward to coming out? If it's a horror movie, if it's a drama, a documentary, is it a thriller, an action movie? Just keep the Hallmark movies to yourself. We don't do the Hallmark movies around here because there's no sense in that. There's enough of that in the world. Give me the horror stuff. Give me the good stuff. You know, give me the stuff that's going to keep you up at night. My only team is the Thunder, buddy. Good job. I'm glad you like the Thunder. It's awesome of you. Back to back champions coming up. So there you go. So, what are you looking forward to coming out? What movie? What book? What comic book? You know, there's so many new comic books coming out on a regular basis, and everybody thought it was going to go under because Diamond Distribution went out uh, as a distributor for comic books. That was the big hub for all of the comic book companies out there, all the comic shops and things like that to order from. But there's two or three others that have taken up the moniker where you can order the comic books from now. So that's pretty cool, especially for all of the publishing houses like Antarctic Press, Marvel, DC, Image Comics and things like that to push their comic books out into the world, and a ton of individuals and small press books out there that are pretty cool to read. You can go visit Legacy Comics, and they have a ton to offer in the world of comic book realms. It is held by Mr. Patrick Hickey Jr. He is a voice actor as well, just like I am, and he is doing a ton of stuff behind the scenes. He's writing a ton of comic books out there. He's making appearances at different conventions, especially gaming conventions and things like that, because he is the phone guy for Five Nights at Freddy's on the video game series. Let's see here, but he does so much more. You can go check out his stuff at legacycomics.com and check out and see if there's anything out there that you would like. I am working on Condry, Man's Best Friend, a one shot for the Condry series. And this is my two covers for the 8-page Ashcan so far. Bum, bum, bum. Right there and right there. This is the original artwork. This is what was colored up in Photoshop and not the new stuff that has AI in it. But you can see the process as it goes along right there. And yes, this is an homage to Frank Miller right there, as it says. Right there. And then the other one is right here. Boom, boom, boom. Right there and right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink these in as well, so that when they go in the portfolio, they're not just the line work. It's going to have all the dark inks on it as well as the other that you just saw. And like we've talked about before, get a little bit of a horror theme going right here. This is from God of War. These are two characters mashed together in the Wolver and the Drekkie right there. It is a vision of a friend of mine who did some commissions with me, and the other commission from him right here, which is the Blade Runner and Kingdom Hearts mashup, where you've got Sora from Kingdom Hearts battling the replicants from Blade Runner, and then you've got Decker fighting I believe they're called the Darkness or Black Hearts or something like that from Kingdom Hearts. And it's several different ones right there. So you've got all that going on in those two pieces. And then I've got a big piece to do for him, which is an 18 by 24, which is going to cover my entire art desk over here. And I'm looking forward to that one too, because that'll put an end to all of those. Not that I'm trying to get them off my desk, but I need to get them off my desk so I can start doing other things. Right now on the desk is page 1 of Condry Man's Best Friend, of an 8-page standalone book that fills in some gaps in the actual Condry comic book series that Patrick Hickey Jr. has out there. And I'm looking forward to it because this will be my first sequential page piece that I've worked on. Now, I used to do a small publication back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I did a few sequential pages for my own self in my own book. But as far as creating an entire comic book, this will be the first one done in this style. And it's going to be done in the Sin City style. All the blacks, heavy blacks, and white spot, the negative space in there. And that's how it's going to be built up in this book. And that's because that's what he wanted. He wanted something similar to a Frank Miller style and a Frank Miller feel. And if you know who Frank Miller is in the whole spectrum of things, go watch Sin City or go pick up. There was a stint in Daredevil that he did. He did the Elektra series, and he also did Batman: Dark Knight Returns and the prequel to Dark Knight Returns 2. Great artist. Uh, Also, the mind behind 300, if you've seen that one. Um, but go check out his work. It's phenomenal work. Great guy. He's a very eccentric guy. Let's put it that way. Very different guy. But for some of the stuff that he draws up and does, you've got to be, you've got to be that eccentric with things out there. But I'm happy with where it is right now on this first mock-up page that I'm working on, and hopefully he likes it too. It's 5 panels with a main figure walking through it on there. So each panel has a little bit of extra stuff in it, and you'll be able to see that, when you get the comic book itself. So there you go. So what horror movie has screwed you up and kept you up at night? Please let us know in the comments. Because we've got Halloween tomorrow, which means all of your witches will be active. They will be doing all of the rituals. I mean, heck, some will probably be doing their rituals at midnight tonight. You know. So again, if you are approached by a attractive female, remember, it is smacrifice season out there, and you might not be going home. So just be careful, guys or girls. You know, you do have the warlocks out there, but that's some of the stuff that's in my book is the witches warlock aspect in my own comic book, and I don't talk enough about it right now because I don't have it completely finished up or even really started. I mean, I've got it started. I've got book one in the works of the writing process, and since I'm not a writer per se, it's taken me a little bit longer than I really want to do. But what writing programs do you guys use besides Microsoft 360? You know, that's the questions I want. What other writing programs are out there? I don't really look at all the stuff out there when it comes to new apps and all that stuff. So I mean, I know it's a quick Google search, just like finding the Audacity for my mixing my sound in my EVPs. Those type things. The electronic voice phenomenon that I capture in the house, and hopefully I can get them off of here like I used to be able to, and upload them directly into the program itself, so I can listen to and see if there's anything in there that I've missed. Because whenever you're just playing it back, you don't hear everything, especially when you've got other distractions happening, or you walk out of the room and it's still playing and all that good stuff. So I'm looking for that, looking to get into that and see what we're missing, because I was listening to some of my older ones where we're doing some outside sessions in a secluded area and stuff like that, and I swear I'm hearing some sounds in there that like some female voices and things of that nature. So I got to go back in there and really really listen to it with no distractions happening. And so, but we're going to be getting more and more equipment so that we can go do some ghost uh, hunts and paranormal stuff, and hopefully bring back some good footage. Because here I have cameras running 24/7, but they don't always pick up all the activity um, that happens here at the property. Because, like I said, we see all kinds of stuff here, especially me, since I'm here most of the time. And I get to see, full body apparitions. I get to see, shadow people. I see orbs. You know, and just, the list goes on and on. Um, Now there are bumps and things that I can dispel and I can debunk. You know, but as far as certain things that happen, there's no explanation for them other than paranormal. And so, you just go from there with it all. And you live with it every day. So I don't mind because, I like the paranormal side of it all. And it doesn't bother me a bit. Like a lot of people are like, well, I gotta move. I couldn't live in a haunted house and things of that. Why? Are they messing with you that bad? Here they tried to mess with me, the first month or so living here, but then they just like, okay, he's not going anywhere, so I guess we're stuck with him too. And they've kind of, I mean, it hasn't quieted down, but they maintain a respect level in there, I guess, if you will, just like I do with them. And they show themselves periodically here lately, not as much as they used to, where they were throwing rocks across the floors, where they were throwing my um, hobo coin from a acrylic shelf up here all the way down to here, and there's no physical way it could do that. Even hitting the wall on the other side is not going to make it fly all the way over here, which is about, you know, 2.5, 3 foot from the wall to here. And because if you know anything about gravity, as soon as it breaks that lip, it's going straight down. It's not flying over here, you know, and stuff like that. So it's all just fun and games, when it comes to the paranormal that happens here around the house now. And you really want to see what happens next because we've seen it all. You know, like I said, things being thrown across the room, from action figures that if they topple forward, they're toppling forward. You know how things fall. They don't get lifted up, flipped upside down, and slid in between two other action figures that they're sitting on. With the board, uh, the the cardboard backer that has that hanger section. With that's happened before. Uh, I mean, all kinds of weird stuff has happened in this house. You know that defies logic or explanation other than the paranormal. So again, I've got EVPs in here. I've got tons of orb uh, activity on a regular basis, especially in the library. Uh, I do have haunted artifacts in the library, and little things like that. So, excuse me. But yeah, it's. Would you live in a haunted house on a regular basis? Therein lies the question. I don't know if I've asked that before, and if I haven't, I apologize because we should be talking about that. I've been watching. We've been watching a whole bunch of new to us, not new to everybody else, but um, paranormal shows on YouTube and things like that. And some of the stuff that people capture, dude. We've been talking about Legacy Comics for who knows how long, and that's comics with an X, not with the typical spelling of comics. So, Roy, this is Legacy Comics right here. See that little Legacy Comics right there in the corner. Right there. Dun, 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 Legacy Comics right there. This is my cover to them. Well, that's Mr. Patrick Hickey Jr. He's a cool dude, the owner of Legacy Comics, and so he is liking your comment on my post because it probably had to do something with the um, one of the Condry covers, maybe this one right here, or the other one, this one right here. If he liked one of those, that's probably one of the one. If, or liked the comment, that's probably one of the comments that he liked was because of something you said. It said right there. Boy, you're just butchering it all up. Let me spell it out for you. Comix. Comix. Just like my Anderson Graphics, instead of a C at the end, it was with an X on my old persona, my old logo and stuff. The Anderson Graphics kingdom that disappeared whenever this year hit. This is our rebuild year for 412 Productions, the Art of Money Anderson. So, but yeah, no, no, we've only been talking about Legacy Comics for quite a while now. Because that's where I'm doing the Condry, man's best friend. You know, no, it's all good. He's over here on occasion. He will pop up over here on Facebook from time to time while I'm over here, and hit me up right there. But no disrespect happening. He's a cool dude. Again, he's a voice actor like I am, but he's more well known of a voice actor than I am when it comes down to it, because he's already in some video games. Like I said. Yeah, but your memory shouldn't be that bad. I mean, but you do forget your favorite teams like the Oklahoma City Sooners, the Thunder, and Texas Rangers. So I can understand how you can miss all of the whole talk about Legacy Comics since you can't even remember your own damn teams. So there you go. It's time for that nursing home, buddy. Time to go to the nursing home where they can give you the brain pills and all that goody good stuff. Let's see here. So, lots of artwork, especially horror artwork, up for sale right now. Fixing to add a bunch more because I've neglected the days in there, and so I'm looking forward to dumping a bunch more into the list. I think I've got a few more left to put out there, just like the three that I just pulled out of mothballs. The the Freddy piece right here that glows in the dark. It's a small 8x10. The Elvira, she does not glow in the dark. And I'm going to update some of these with some things in here. And then, of course, Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Right there. This one is an 11x14 piece over the 8x10 size. And he glows in the dark as well. So those are available and will be available for anybody that wants those. What's up, Casey? Welcome to the broadcast booth. Thought you were going to sleep in today. But yes, we've been talking about what horror movie kept you up at night. What horror movie was so disturbing that you never wanted to see it again? And from there, I haven't found one yet. And that comes with the documentaries. That comes with the horror movies that I watch on a regular basis. That comes with the new horror stuff that comes out. I mean, I think the news is a lot worse than some of the horror movies that are out there in the world today. But I don't watch the news, so. But hopefully you got your coffee in hand, Mr. Casey, and you're doing well out there. And yeah, we're looking forward to a lot of cool stuff. Uh, this is today's topic is trust the process is really what it is, and that includes all the stuff that goes on in life when it comes down to like decluttering your life of stuff that could be internally too, and then it also has to do with physical stuff, stuff that we accumulate over time, and it's just like, okay, why do I have this now? Why did I really think I needed this? And and so then it's just time to declutter a lot. And then you just got to trust that process. Just like when I was talking about trusting the art process. Not everything, goes as smoothly as you want it to, but you still have to trust the process, especially the process that you've created for yourself when it comes to doing artwork or whatever hobby you do. And if it works best for you that way, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So it's just like me as I'm going over the whole monologue, the whole script for Conjuring Man's Best Friend. I'm putting my own little notes on it. This is going to be panel one. This is going to be panel, two. This is what's going to happen in there. I write my little notes in there so that I know whenever I go back and look at it. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do right here. Instead of looking at it and then being like, what was I going to do here? I do my notes. It's just like writing down all the different sources and things like that. Um, like all the stuff that Kirk was talking about the other day with the clairvoyance, uh, the Gacy guy, and not John Wayne, but Edgar Gacy, and then Montgomery, Ruth Montgomery, I believe is her name. And their niche in the world. Edgar Gacy said he learned by osmosis, and if you don't know what that means, he would basically put a book that he wanted to learn or like a textbook or whatever under his pillow at night, and in the morning when he woke up he had all the knowledge of the book from, and basically, because his dad was trying to teach him things, and it wasn't coming through, and so his dad would beat him, you know and so he started sleeping with this book under, or the different books under his bed, and his dad would ask him the questions about them, and he would be, telling, reading the entire page, and so then his dad would beat him again because he thought he was lying to him the whole time. You know, Interesting read when it comes down to it. And then I'm looking at all these books that he's got, or that was one person wrote a book about him in his lifetime. And 1943, I believe, is when the book came out, the first print of it. Not a cheap book by any stretch of the imagination. And so, but it's not something I'm going to go buy for myself. But I can find a 10th edition or whatever later down the road, and pick it up for $12 or $3 or those prices right there, instead of the 300 to $4,000 price range that they are for the first edition. You Unlike my Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice, the first edition that I have here at the house. So, you but yeah, no, it's what horror movie when you saw it you said never again? Is there any out there that you've never wanted to watch again because it messed you up that much? What artist works have scared you out in the world? There's been some freaky artwork that I've seen out there in the world, but nothing that was like, oh my god, why would you have that hanging on your wall? You know. Now, there are some things that I've seen out there that would be like, yeah, no, that would never touch my walls. But then there's others that be like, yeah, that would be super cool. You know, blood soaked painting. You know, not real blood, obviously, but you know those type of things. But there was an artist that used to put his own blood into the ink. He's a modern day artist. The girlfriend has a piece of his artwork out there. I don't even know where she's got it right now, but it's here somewhere at the house. But he infused his own blood into the ink that he used on his pieces. So that's a little weird in my opinion, but you know they do say blood, sweat, and tears with all of your work, right? And he's literally putting his blood into his work. So you know, to each their own. You know, it's not something I would do. You know, but it is a cool concept out there when it comes down to it. Much appreciated for the likes, the shares, and the follows. And if you don't already, you can go up here and you can hit up all of the other um, social medias that I am under. With everything, you'll get my personal page out there. You'll also get my business page. You can also find me on Instagram and YouTube as well there. And you're already here on TikTok, those of you that aren't on Facebook up here. And, you know, like I said, Halloween is tomorrow. What are you guys doing for Halloween? And just know that after today, we'll be on the odd numbers instead of the even numbers. Because the next day of the every other day falls on November 1st. Bum, bum, bum. And then we're getting close to turkey time. You know, the gobble gobble turkey time. Where you eat to your heart's content. And then you watch football the rest of the day. So, yeah, you got that coming right around the corner. And it sounds like it's about another time to take a trip to do some crystal mining. You know, the temperatures are dropping drastically. And I got the fireplace going, like I said, right now. And time to go dig some more crystals. Time to go dig some more crystals. Not that we don't have enough right now. We got some that we still haven't even washed. They're actually in a bucket outside, getting washed by all this rain that we've had here lately. And what is the temperature saying outside? Normally it's right here. I'm not seeing it out here right now. Yeah, it's not telling me what the temperature is outside right now. Normally it says, but I'm probably like yesterday was in the 50s, and then the wind started blowing real like 20 to 25 miles an hour, and it dropped into the 40s. So it was supposed to. They said it was going to be in the high 30s, like 38, 39, something like that. But it never got that far here. And Mike, and I think the only one. And what's happening here? All right, let's see here. So Roy, what horror movie has screwed you up that you never wanted to watch it again? Casey, what horror movie screwed you up? Never wanted to watch again. I guess I could say mine is Church. That's a horror movie in and of itself sometimes. Sorry, it's just an inside joke. Uh, so, what horror movie? Oh, my lives. Only when the paranormal stuff starts happening is it going to keep you up at night. Yes, which is a different self. There's a lot of movies that I watch, and I sit there and it's like, why did I watch that? Yeah, yeah, the vampires and the what was it? Vampires and zombies. I remember you talking about that on the last show um, out there because we talk about real life stuff here too when it comes down to it, and some people just need that. But we talk about more horror movies, more crystal digging, and things of that nature. We do anything else, because you got to talk about real life every now and again. Oh, am I? That's probably because of this right here. Give me just 1 second. We'll see if that realm with the always fun to be in. Not real. It's likely to be in from all of my classmates. So disappointing. But yeah, no, no, we had you. That's when you used to do all that stuff back in school. Whenever you used to do those surveys for the and yearbook and all that, and you would say most likely to this, most likely to other. You know, they do that anymore. Doing the younger, the most likely twos in the yearbooks. You guys even have yearbooks anymore? I got one for every year from '84 on, basically. So I'm also in the who's who's of America's people from when I was a kid. That's interesting. That book barely survived the fire. That's my parents. And if you've never had one of those who's who books, you should go look into those. They're pretty interesting. On people's lives, not live like this, but on your life. The story of your life unfolds in this book. Not really. It just tells you, academically, whatever, you know, uh, type of a thing. I'd have to pull it out. It's in my libraries. It's in my libraries. Yes, I have a library. It's a haunted library. That's where most of my orbs hang out. Is in that room, all by themselves. You know, it's pretty cool to watch them when you pull up video cameras and stuff like that. You see them just flying all over the place. And sometimes they're more active than others. And you can tell because then it's when you're starting to hear some more bangs and bumps and things like that. And then you start doing your EVP sessions and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, that's the fun stuff. The fun stuff in life. So no horror movies have screwed anybody up. I mean, other than the vampires and the zombies and things like that you talked about already. Roy, what horror movie screwed you up as a kid into an adult that you don't want to watch it ever again? Me, I'm still trying to think on one. I mean, my mom said that King Kong scared me as a kid when we went to see it at the drive-in theater. I don't even remember what age I was at the time, but King Kong ain't nothing to be scared of. So obviously, it didn't mess me up as a kid to never watch it again. Let's see here. Again, I haven't found one yet that I would not watch again. Now, there's some that I wouldn't watch again just because they were crap, as far as a horror movie goes, or an action movie, or you get a lot of those low budget movies out there that you, I think even the producer is asking himself why it was made sometimes, you know. But that's just my thinking, and and I know it puts a lot of people on the map when it comes to their acting career. It's just like all these voice acting gigs that I'm doing, and the small roles that I get in local productions of movies and things like that. Um, helps get my name out there more and more. So, which is cool, and hopefully it leads to something a little better. You know, maybe I'll be in a video game series out there, or maybe I will be, you know, in a role out there, and you get to see my face more often. You know, in a acting career role. You know, I've got some acting friends out there that are doing a lot of movies and things like that. Just like Mr. Santiago Cirillo from The Walking Dead, who played Julio, and he's been in a ton of movies. He does a proactive, you know, mental health Comic Con. Basically, it's a horror con more than it is a Comic Con that just happened last month, I believe, in Paragould, Arkansas, and um, you know, he does a lot out there to speak up on the whole, you know, the mental health side of things. And just like I do with my other side, when you're looking at the Facebook side and the YouTube side, I've got a number up there that's a prevention hotline number, and you, if you're having trouble, you can go to that, or you can hit me up if you're having trouble with, you know, life issues, those type things, because I will sit and listen to you. I will talk to you about my life of you know, the things that I've been through. So there is all of that. But trust the process, no matter what it is for you. Trust the process in cleaning. Trust the process in your craft. Trust the process. If it's working for you and it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, that's what today's show has been about. Is trust the process. It's just like whenever I start declutterizing again, everything in my office, I'm gonna be getting rid of a lot of stuff, and that includes a bunch of these plastic bins. Move them out of here and put them in another room, so that I have a little bit of leg room, you know, to stretch out instead of this little section under my desk. Because like right now, my feet are back up under my chair right now because I've got a plastic bin right here. That's a three drawer bin that has my art supplies in it, such as uh, books, uh, drawing books, and things like that. And then the next one has, what does the next one have? Odds and ends stuff, and then the very bottom drawer has nothing in it. You know, so it's just like, okay, why do I have that in here when I can put all this stuff in another one and then move this somewhere else? Oh, it's just here for storage, basically. Is really what it's for. Uh, Storage of stuff that doesn't need to be in the drawers. You know, So trust the process when it comes down to it. Trust the process no matter how it's done. As long as it works for you, trust that process is what it boils down to. All right, kids, I'm going to kill it for today. I appreciate everybody that stopped in, checked us out, and been here. We are at 10.9 thousand likes, which puts us in the popular live realm, which is always fun. Again, it's not about the popularity. It's about getting out all the cool stuff to you guys. From horror movies to comic books to sci-fi movies. I mean, you name it, we talk about it here, except for politics and religion. We don't talk about those two subjects because people lose their damn minds whenever you do. But you all have a great day, and I've got some animals to take care of since I do homestead as well. But yes, those two subjects we don't talk about. You all have a great day, and as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.